everybody, welcome back to the Rafter 6A, where we're keeping it country. So we're getting ready for spring, and as you guys know, especially here in West Texas, El Paso, spring brings on weeds. And as you can see, even in our round pen, horses haven't been in there very much. So all around the perimeter and even a few spots inside, those weeds are starting to get some ground on us. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch out here in the back. So that kind of goes in line with the purpose of this video today, and that is getting all of our, or some of our spring equipment ready, spring and summer equipment ready. We haven't used a couple of the trimmers in, I don't know, at least maybe 5-6 months. And let me show you this bad boy, the one on the right. It is our Echo weed trimmer. So yeah, we haven't used it in about 2 years now, literally 2 years, and need to get it fired up. They can give you a hard time in restarting, especially if you haven't started them in a while. So we ran to one of the big box stores last night and picked up a little fuel tune-up kit. So we'll be changing out the fuel lines, the primer bulb, and the little grommet, the rubber grommet that goes on the actual tank itself. Let's get started. Our model of Echo is our SRM-225. That's the model number. And this little kit that we picked up is also an Echo brand. I'll have the links to this thing at the in the comments description of the video. It's a 90127Y. That's basically a universal fuel system kit. Okay, the first thing you got to do is take this little butterfly type nut off and expose the air filter. Air filter comes off. This here is the entrance to your carburetor. This, you can see, is your carburetor exposed, the carburetor cover exposed. So we need to get the 2-star screws removed. And that exposes your carburetor. Continue on. We're going to remove these 4 screws here that hold the plate for the primer bulb. But we're going to clean all this up before we do that. Be ready, because as you can see, it is going to leak just a little. It's from the vapor built up over time. But there, so you just take the plate off, then the little primer bulb comes right off. Just like that. That's the area you really want to make sure that you don't get any dirt or any grime on. So I'll put this back for now while I clean everything. While we're here, we're going to disconnect these fuel lines. Because those will be replacing as well. And now that we have this area cleaned off, I'm going to go and remove the old bulb. A brand new bulb. Goes on just like that. The plate goes right over. And I'm going to temporarily attach this. But I say temporarily because I'll be removing it again once I start getting the fuel lines, these that I disconnected, ready to put them back in there, just in case I need to take this off while I'm halfway there. But I want to keep this on because the last thing I want is, like I said, any little particles of dirt or grime getting inside this area where the bulb is. That's cleaned, well, already filtered gasoline, I should say. There's a filter, for those of you that don't know, at the end of one of the lines that goes into the tank. It's a fuel filter. So by the time it gets up here, that gasoline is already pretty clean, and I don't want to ruin it by allowing any particles to get in this primer bulb area, clogging up the line or something. You may be wondering why I'm not using a drill, even a smaller drill, and that's only because the last thing I want is to over tighten these screws, even though I'm doing it temporarily right now. But when I'm done, the last thing I want to do is over tighten the screws, and then I once again have other issues that I need to address. So here you can see the new hoses. Okay, this is the filter I was talking about here. This filter goes into the tank and starts cleaning out the this right here starts cleaning out the gasoline, and it brings it on up. So now we need to remove this little grommet here. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but there's a little grommet here, rubber grommet, that holds onto these fuel lines. It's a little black rubber cap, and it keeps the gasoline from spilling when you move the weed whacker in different directions. Clean around that a little bit better. Once again, the last thing you want to do is introduce dirt or grime into your tank, even though for the most part it won't do too much harm because of the filter, cleans it out. I just want to take some extra precautions and make sure that, absolute sure that I get absolutely nothing in there, or as little as possible. To remove this, you take a flathead. It's okay if it gets damaged because you're replacing it anyway. You just try and pry it out. Pull on it a little as you're flipping it. As you saw, these needle nose did the job. And there we go. In case you're wondering, the reason that I didn't completely just rip these off and tear them and everything is I want to make sure that, even though it's universal, I want to make sure that the sizes are still the same, the lengths are still the same. If I have to cut them, at least I have a go-by as to what the length should be. You can see these are pretty identical. That's a good thing. And in length, looks like we are good to go. This grommet goes back here. There we go. So I'll be cutting this line just a little bit. This line is just a little bit longer, but it's from the stretching and time of the gasoline taking effect on it. I don't know how well you can see it, the length. But this one is perfectly fine. That's a good length that'll reach up. So we're okay with that. So now let's put this bad boy back together. So we're gonna pop the little grommet back in place. If you remove these lines, it could be just a little bit easier, but then you're gonna have to fit these lines back in, and it's like you saw me do. I tugged on it. It's not very easy. It's easier to just put all of these together, put all of these in there already, and then just put the grommet in as one whole piece. And what you want to do is, with a dull screwdriver, not the blade type, flathead. That's what it's called, a flathead, but with a Phillips. You want to lean it in, make sure that part of the grommet goes in back there, and then just kind of push it, help it in there the rest of the way. That should pop. You'll be able to feel it pop in once it makes its way down in there. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. The way I'm going to clean it is with some starting fluid. We'll use a starting fluid, and then we'll wipe everything down with a napkin, with a towel, a shop towel. See how it does a good job of cleaning and helping remove all this grime. I'm going to do that to the housing as well, the cover. Okay, take all that dirt off. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now we're ready to put this unit back on. You do want to make sure it's nice and snug. Oftentimes, if your weed whacker won't start, it's got to be because this housing is loose. So with that done, the last thing we need to do, as far as replacements, is we're going to get this little black ring, this seal back here. We're going to take it off and replace it with the one that came in the kit. And it's important that you do that, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself with an armful of gasoline when you start up your weed trimmer and you start moving it in different angles. Okay, there we go. Little seal has been replaced. I went ahead and took off that white holder. All that holder does, the only purpose it serves is it keeps the cap, when you take it off, it keeps it in place. But it was very brittle already, and I figured might as well just take it off now before it ends up busting on me when I'm in the middle of working. I have to take the time to pick through the weeds that I'm cutting and find the cap and then clean out the cap, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's why I took it off. I'm cleaning the housing now, putting a new air filter into it. So it's been a couple of days now since I was working outside on the Weedeater. Don't worry, you didn't miss much. As a matter of fact, the only thing that was left was for me to put the cover back on the carburetor, and then I did try it, but it still didn't pick up the little bulb primer, still didn't pick up any fuel. So the Weedeater still didn't work. It looked like the diaphragm might have been a little bit worn already. Keep in mind, we used the heck out of this Weedeater the first year we got it in 2017. I went ahead and just ordered a brand new little carburetor. So we're gonna go ahead and take this back apart. I'm gonna go ahead and take this entire piece off right here. So as you can see, it's identical. The difference is obvious, the clean from the dirty. So the new part, the diaphragm and the gasket seal that I was talking about, is all in here. It's contained in here. So we definitely want to make sure that we don't damage this one by dropping it or anything like that. So out goes the old one. On goes the new one. Okay guys, we're back outside. I've already put the carburetor on. Now we're just gonna fill it up with some gasoline. Yeah, it looks like it's filling. There we go, guys. So the bulb is now catching the gasoline. It's lifting it up. It's holding it. Let's give it a shot. So I'm cold. There we go, guys. Well, okay guys, well thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment if you have any questions about what I did with getting this Echo SRM-225 started. Also, please don't forget to slam the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell. We appreciate you joining us at the Rafter 6A, and we hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, no matter where you call home, keep on keeping it country.